When Platoon stormed into theaters in 1986, it wasn't just a film that was a visceral experience. Director Oliver Stone's Oscar-winning masterpiece tore away the glamour of war, showing audiences the raw brutality of Vietnam. On screen, soldiers bled, screamed, and struggled with morality in the jungles, but off-screen, the lives of the actors who brought this story to life became their own war zones. Fame, addiction, heartbreak, and tragedy haunted many long after the cameras stopped rolling. Today, we journey through the lives of Platoon's cast, revealing what the world rarely saw, the human cost behind the silver screen. Francesco Quinn as Francesco Quinn, born March 22, 1963, in Rome, was the son of legendary actor Anthony Quinn and costume designer Yolanda Adalori. At just 23, he played Ra in Platoon 1986, a fierce, loyal soldier whose intensity left a lasting mark. Though surrounded by Hollywood legacy, Francesco often struggled with the shadow of his father's fame, seeking roles that could define him on his own terms. His career included television and films like Transformers, Dark of the Moon, but stardom remained elusive. On August 5, 2011, at only 48, he died of a heart attack, leaving behind children and unfinished dreams. Charlie Sheen as Chris Taylor, Carlos Irwin Estevez, better known as Charlie Sheen, was only 21 when he stepped into the boots of Chris Taylor, a naive young soldier who experiences the moral collapse of humanity amidst the chaos of Vietnam. Chris Taylor's descent on screen foreshadowed the turbulence of Sheen's own life, addiction, scandals, and personal crises. Born on September 3, 1965, in New York City, Charlie was the youngest son of actor Martin Sheen. He grew up in Malibu, California, surrounded by fame and artistic influence, but his path was riddled with early rebellion, substance abuse, and personal turmoil. Multiple marriages, public scandals, and a shocking HIV revelation in 2015 painted the portrait of a man at war with himself. Now 60 years old, Charlie lives quietly in Malibu, occasionally appearing in small projects, once the highest-paid actor on television, earning $1.8 million per episode of 2.5 Men. He now has a net worth of around $10 million. He may have lost the spotlight, but the memory of Chris Taylor's innocence and eventual descent remains a haunting reflection of his real-life struggles. Johnny Depp as Lerner. Johnny Depp entered Hollywood's landscape as Lerner, a sensitive, quiet soldier whose humanity shone amidst the savagery of war. At 23, Depp's small but emotionally charged role hinted at the future icon he would become. Born on June 9, 1963, in Owensboro, Kentucky, Depp's artistic journey began in music before pivoting to acting, leading him eventually to iconic roles, such as Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean. Depp's trajectory was as turbulent as his characters. Addiction, depression, and high-profile legal battles, most notably his acrimonious divorce from Amber Heard, have shaped his modern image. The 2020 court victory restored some of his reputation, but the process drained him emotionally and financially, reducing his net worth from a peak of $650 million to around $150 million. Yet, Depp's resilience remains undeniable. A survivor, quietly pursuing art, music, and painting in France, away from the relentless glare of fame. Tom Berenger as Sergeant Barnes. Tom Berenger, born Thomas Michael Moore on May 31, 1949, in Chicago, was 37 when he portrayed Sergeant Barnes in Platoon. Raised in a strict Catholic household, he once considered a religious path before pursuing acting. His chilling performance as Barnes reflected both brutality and inner conflict. Off-screen, Berenger endured personal struggles, including multiple marriages and the challenges of fatherhood. Now settled in South Carolina with his fourth wife, he works occasionally in independent films, his $4 million legacy secured. Tony Todd as Warren. Tony Todd's towering presence and deep voice brought Warren, a calm and reliable soldier, to life. Born December 4, 1954, in Washington, D.C., Todd spent decades confronting systemic bias in Hollywood. Despite exceptional talent, He often faced supporting roles while battling professional and personal loneliness. His personal life was marked by isolation and quiet struggles. Married to Fatima Cortez, he endured the challenges of fame, loss, and depression. On November 6, 2024, Tony passed away at home in Marina del Rey after a battle with stomach cancer, leaving behind a modest $3 million net worth but a career of profound artistic depth. Willem Dafoe as Sergeant Elias. Willem Dafoe, 31, portrayed Sergeant Elias, the moral compass amidst chaos. Born July 22, 1955, in Appleton, Wisconsin, Dafoe's career embraced complex, layered roles from The Last Temptation of Christ to Antichrist. Dafoe's life was one of quiet reflection, often estranged from personal relationships due to his obsession with art. Married quickly in Italy to director Giada Colagrande, Dafoe split his time between New York and Rome, pursuing cinema while retreating from public scrutiny. With a net worth of $40 million, he remains a fiercely private and profoundly committed actor. Keith David as King. Keith David, 30, embodied the spiritual anchor of Platoon's soldiers. Born June 4, 1956, in Harlem, he pursued acting rigorously, graduating from Juilliard in 1979. Through decades, his resonant voice became iconic across film, television, and video games. Personal hardships included failed marriages, estrangement from children, and a lifelong pursuit of spiritual understanding outside structured religion. Now 69, Keith continues to work across media, balancing artistic fulfillment with personal reflection, holding a net worth of $5 million, and soon receiving a long overdue star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Mark Moses as Lieutenant Wolf. Mark Moses brought vulnerability and inexperience to Lieutenant Wolf. Born February 24, 1958, in New York City, Moses' career shifted from athletics to literature and theater. Personal struggles included divorce and periods of anxiety and isolation. At 66, he continues acting in supporting roles, with a modest net worth of $2 million. Forrest Whitaker as Big Harold. Forrest Whitaker, 25 at the time, embodied quiet humanity as Big Harold. Born July 15, 1961, in Longview, Texas, Whitaker's career would eventually earn him an Oscar for The Last King of Scotland. Personal life included a 22-year marriage ending in divorce, periods of depression, and a dedication to yoga and humanitarian work. Today, at 63, Whitaker balances acting, philanthropy, and advocacy, with a net worth of $30 million. Kevin Dillon as Bunny. Kevin Dillon, 21, portrayed Bunny, a savage soldier whose descent into violence reflected a tormented youth. Born August 19, 1965, in New Rochelle, New York, Dillon struggled with addiction, divorce, and the pressures of Hollywood. Now 59, he works on smaller projects and maintains a net worth of $10 million. Still recognized as the wild, unforgettable Bunny. Corey Glover as Francis. Corey Glover played Francis, a naive soldier facing the horrors of war. Born November 6, 1964, in Brooklyn, New York, Glover transitioned from acting to music, leading the rock band Living Colour. Fame brought personal struggle, divorce, and estrangement from his child. At 60, Glover continues performing, holding a net worth of $3 million and exemplifying survival through art. John C. McGinley as Sergeant O'Neill. John C. McGinley, born August 3, 1959, in Greenwich Village, brought cunning and opportunism to Sergeant O'Neill. Beyond the screen, he faced personal struggles, raising a child with Down syndrome while becoming an advocate for disability rights. Today, he lives in Malibu, balancing acting with activism, holding a net worth of $12 million. Platoon was more than a war film. It reflected humanity under pressure. For its cast, the battles continued after filming. Addiction, divorce, illness, and resilience shaped their lives. Some passed away, some withdrew, and others endured. Their journeys show that the most powerful stories extend beyond the jungle. Scenes reminding us that true heroism lies not only in combat, but in survival, perseverance, and the courage to move forward Thanks for watching.